It's the start of an incredible journey, a new era for motorsport. Welcome to Extreme E, an all-electric racing series with a purpose: to raise awareness of climate change.
And we start here, in the remote deserts of Saudi Arabia. Around the canyons of Al Ula, the Extreme E teams, 9 men and 9 women, will do battle across a car-breaking landscape of rocks and sand. The 8.8-kilometre course is breathtakingly beautiful, but it will test every car to its limit.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Saudi Arabia and a genuine piece of motorsport history. The very first event for Extreme E ever. First event on this season's calendar too, of course. It's a series for state-of-the-art electric SUVs, but a sport with real purpose. One that promotes the adoption of electric vehicles, but one that will also throw a spotlight on the world's most endangered environments and the fight against global climate change.
Yes, Al Ula is a stunning remote wilderness in the Arabian desert, about 250 kilometres east of the Red Sea and a 10-hour drive from the capital of Riyadh. A hot, dry and unforgiving place for the very first Prix. And this is a course built for action. It will take no prisoners.
But before we go any further, if you want to know all about Extreme E, here is your starter pack.
Earth, a planet in perfect balance, providing life across 7 continents, from the biodiverse rainforests of South America to the deepest parts of our oceans. But this existence is at threat. Humans are pumping dangerous levels of carbon into the atmosphere, causing the planet's temperature to rise. In the last decade, we have been witness to the hottest temperatures ever recorded, and huge parts of our ice caps are melting into the ocean, disrupting the ecosystem, threatening our way of life.
The consequences of climate change are affecting millions of people across the planet.
Cities worldwide, everywhere, are going to become uninhabitable.
Our planet is heading towards a climate disaster that threatens all life on Earth as we know it.
We have to act now to make those changes.
Extreme E will bring together the fastest drivers on 4 wheels in fully electric racing off-road SUVs to some of the most remote and damaged areas on Earth, raising awareness of the environment, electrification and equality.
I have an impossible dream: to race electric cars in the most remote corners of the planet. I know, without leaving a trace.
The Prix will be held across 5 countries, each highlighting the local impact of climate change. From the polluted ocean of Senegal, melting ice caps of Greenland, diminishing rainforests of the Amazon, retreating glaciers of Patagonia, to rapidly heating deserts of Saudi Arabia, using the power of sport to highlight the effects human impact is having on our world.
I think it's really important to really immerse yourself in those areas and see what's happening with climate change so we can really increase awareness, and from awareness we can have more people taking more actions.
To tackle these demanding locations requires one of the most robust racing cars ever built, the Odyssey 21. This purpose-designed all-electric machine is constructed using cutting-edge environmental technologies and materials. The battery will be charged using a hydrogen fuel cell, producing clean, emission-free energy. Behind the wheel of these off-road machines will be some of the biggest names in racing.
The car feels insane.
It's amazing how much torque you have to have immediate power when you touch the throttle pedal.
The drivers, they didn't know what to expect and they were blown away. That's probably the biggest shock, is just how much torque you're able to get.
And marking an historic first for international motorsport, the driver lineup will be equally split, 50% male, 50% female.
The level of competition is going to be insane.
Teams will go wheel to wheel on the most extreme terrains, in the most extreme temperatures, driving the most extreme vehicles.
Extreme E takes racing to uncharted territories by bringing the action to some of the most remote locations, all of which are suffering from the destruction of our environment.
But there is more to this than flat-out racing. A team of industry-leading scientists have joined our race for a greener future to provide unrivaled insights into the regions where we compete, guaranteeing we race without a trace. When the checkered flag falls, our legacy programs will ensure that Extreme E leaves a lasting difference in each and every location.
We want to bring awareness, we want to showcase electric cars, and we want to leave behind a legacy linked to climate change and to pollution.
Wouldn't it be great to be a part of something that really does make a difference?
This is fierce and exciting racing with the future of our planet at its heart. This is the greatest adventure of our time. This is Extreme E.
Hello and welcome to the Alula Desert, Saudi Arabia. This spectacular place is unbelievable, and right now I am in the center of the Extreme E paddock. We've seen cars already out on the course, and I'm joined now by Andretti United, Timmy Hansen and Katie Munnings. Guys, this is now starting to feel very real, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first heard about the championship, I really didn't believe it would happen. It sounded like something from a movie. You know, we were going to go to the Amazon, and we were going to go to the desert, and we were going to race in these electric cars. So now, yeah, it feels real. It's really impressive to be here. You know, I never imagined it would happen this quickly. So I'm just buzzing that I'm in the team from the beginning, and yeah, I'm joined by this man. He's a very fast driver, so I feel very lucky to be learning from him.
Timmy, you've already taken the Odyssey 21 out on this unforgiving landscape. What do you think of the course?
I think this track is as far away from a regular racetrack that you get, but it was unreal to go around. You know, we've been preparing for this for over half a year and trying to discuss what's going to happen, what's going to be the challenges, and tried our best to prepare, but still no one really knows how the race is going to go. And I'm just so glad to have actually been out there, and we have finally felt what it's all about. So I've done my lap. Kate is about to do her lap in the afternoon. So yeah, at the end of that, we're going to put our laps together, see where was I faster, where was she faster, and then we're ready for qualifying tomorrow.
I know only one of you has done your lap, but having done the lap, how confident are you?
It went well. Like, the lap was good. I didn't get lost. So it felt really good, and I'm looking forward now to get racing.
Alongside the racing, there's the whole purpose here, which adds another layer to it. Katie, how much does that impact you in your racing today?
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about this when we first signed up. Not only are we getting to race against some of the biggest teams and names in motorsport, but also we get to visit these amazing places and get involved with the legacy programs. It's the kind of stuff that you'd want to do if you were going on holiday. So to be here working, we feel very lucky to even be able to just travel here and experience it all. So it's very special to be involved with the team from season 1 and to be a part of this Extreme E journey, and I can't wait to see where it takes us all.
Thank you both very much. It is a real journey of discovery for us as much as it is for you at home. So check this clip out, because this is how the racing works.
The world's finest drivers have joined brand new teams to compete in the Extreme E Championship. Each team will consist of 1 female and 1 male driver. The drivers will compete in Prix across the globe, each highlighting a specific environmental issue. The male and female driver must compete 1 lap each in any order and can choose at the last moment who starts. Each team has 2 hyperdrive power boosts they can activate on lap 1 and lap 2 of the race. Expect strategy and tactics. Day 1 is qualifying. Session 1 sees all 9 teams set times. Each car will do 2 laps, 1 from each of their drivers. Session 2 sees all the teams head out to the course again. The times from both sessions are then added together to make up the qualifying order and grab the first championship points of the weekend. The top 3 go into the semi-final. 4th, 5th and 6th go to the crazy race, and the bottom 3 heading to the shootout race to fight it out for precious championship points. Day 2 starts with the semi-final, with the top 2 teams proceeding to the final, leaving 1 spot up for grabs to be claimed by the winner of the crazy race. The bottom 3 teams from Day 1's qualifying go head-to-head in the shootout race to decide who finishes 7th, 8th and 9th overall. Grid play allows fans to vote for their favourite team and drivers. The team that collects the most votes get first grid position pick for the final, with the 2nd and 3rd teams choosing in order after. But there is a twist. The teams who do not reach the final can still have an impact, as they can donate their votes to any team that reaches the final and influence who eventually wins the all-important grid play. The team that crosses the line first in the final wins the Prix and claims 25 championship points, with the following teams collecting further championship points in descending order. all 5 X-Prix count towards the Teams Championship, and in the Drivers' Championship, competitors can drop their worst X-Prix result of the season. Who has what it takes to lift the trophy?
Time then for the first shakedown sessions of the season. 2 shakedowns on Friday, 1 for each driver. And one of the first drivers out onto the course here in Saudi Arabia was Ollie Bennett for Hispano-Suiza Excite Energy. Waving at our cameras here and heading out onto the track. My name's Andrew Coley. In the commentary box with me all season will be Jenny Gow. And joining us this weekend, or certainly for the first couple of days, is Sam Bird, who's a bit of an electric racing legend himself. Of course, we'll get Sam's opinion on a very much dustier version of electric racing than Formula E. And Jenny, Extreme E, shaping up to be absolutely fantastic. The action we saw during Shakedown today was...
So the onboard with Ollie Bennett there, you can see his hands moving around as he really wrestles this car, the Odyssey 21. And he's going to go into the section now, which is fast, flowing and uphill. He's going to go to the right, and you can really see him challenging. Through the gates at the top, and this is the fun part for us to look at. Past what I've affectionately called Olaf Rock, because it looks a bit like a snowman. He loses control of the rear end a little bit, wiggling around, snaking, and then down the fast downhill section. The sand on there, really light and loose and kicking up behind the car. What a fabulous shot that is of this Hispano-Suiza Excite Energy team. So you can see here, Ollie Bennett from Bristol in that Hispano-Suiza Excite Energy team, just really wringing the neck out of it and trying to give it all, going through those gates on this long, fast stretch and up to the finish. So a nice first outing for that car number 42, and off we go already. Sam Bird to car number 44. This is Lewis Hamilton's team, and a really excited mix of drivers they've got there. This is Sebastian Loeb.
Absolutely, Sebastian Loeb. I mean, the world's probably the greatest ever rally driver with, in my opinion, the greatest ever Formula One driver. What a pairing these two make. And you know what, for me, Sebastian Loeb goes into this, I think, as one of the favourites.
I think so too. Experience, of course, from rallying, but also from the Dakar. He did the Dakar earlier this year out in Saudi Arabia. Just completely chilled behind the wheel. We looked at this morning. Nothing really phases Sebastian Loeb. He's super laid back. And yes, 16 world titles between him and Lewis. That's pretty impressive.
And his co-driver as well, Cristina Gutierrez, his teammate, is pretty handy as well. She's a 5-time Dakar Rally finisher. So between them, they have a vast wealth of experience to go into this weekend and the first X-Prix.
Gutierrez won a stage on the Dakar this year. That's the first woman to do that since Jutta Kleinsmith a number of years ago. So she is a weapon of a driver. And yeah, her and Loeb, I think, are going to be a pairing to be reckoned with. Great choices for drivers by Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, he's picked well, hasn't he? In his debut as a team founder and a team manager, has gone out there and said, yep, I'll have those two, thanks very much.
This was the Veloce car heading off the start line. It's Stefan Sarazan who took the session in the morning. Sarazan, another all-rounder coming from a background of Formula One and WEC, but had been a factory Subaru driver as well as doing the Intercontinental Rally Challenge. He's had podiums in Corsica and Monaco. And then this is on to Johan Kristoffersen. Kristoffersen, the current World Rallycross champion, 3-timer World Rallycross champion. Kristoffersen this morning on a really big push, and I think we're probably going to see it. He heads up towards that big drop, Jenny, and it was quite the moment. Here it is, up towards the top, and he gets across towards the right-hand side.
Yeah, absolutely. Comes over the peak, clips the gate in doing so, doesn't position himself perfectly, and then flies off the top of there. And Sam, just looking at that cliff, the drop-off there, for some of these drivers, that's going to be very overwhelming.
It's going to be seriously daunting for guys that are used to be going around a track, that's for sure. Completely different. Bearing in mind, this is their effective shakedown. Now, these guys are not holding back at all. It's their only chance to really see the circuit layout before they go into qualifying and then into the races. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do in these sessions.
Acciona team, Carlos Sainz and Laia Sanz. Laya Sands coming from a background in motorbikes, making her change across to car driving for the first time. Carlos Sainz, of course, an absolute legend, double World Rally Champion, winner of the Dakar Rally 3 times with 3 different manufacturers, but not so much experience, Sam, of racing wheel to wheel. But you don't think that's going to matter, do you?
I don't think that's going to matter one bit at all. I mean, I think he probably would have called his son and just got some tips. He'll be fine.
They're running with number 55, actually, and that is a kind of doff your hat to his son, Carlos Sainz Jr., who has the number 55 that he races with. This, again, is the part where they go up over the hill and then through the drop-off.
I think that's probably my favourite part of the course. Sainz with almost a bit of air into the drop. I mean, that's proper roller coaster business. No lifting, just airs it out slightly into the gradient down.
But he's always had flair, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's just a super cool
always
dude.
had the flair.
Super cool, knocking around with the King of Spain. You know, he played, was it tennis or soccer at almost national level before coming on to become an international legend in motorsport. This was interesting. This was Andretti United leaving the line with Timmy Hansen at the wheel, Katie Munnings his teammate, but it was Matthias Ekstrom and Hurtgen's his teammate who were filming the start there, Jenny, in slow motion.
Yeah, there's very little data that the teams can get. There's very little that they can do to actually modify the car and make it better. So what you're best doing is going out there and almost spying in the open to see what the other teams are doing. How are they set up? What can you gauge from that? And Sam, this is all data-driven motorsport. And when you, as a team, come into this almost blind, it's great, isn't it?
Oh, it might be great for people
us.
watching at home,
Yes.
but for us as drivers and people within the sport, we thrive off data. We want as much analysis as possible. So when you go into something blind like Formula Extreme E, as we see the drop, I mean, if you're seeing
the best
pictures,
angle, isn't it?
Unbelievable, spectacular views there. Going into something blind is very, very tricky, Jenny. So for these guys, it's got to be quite daunting.
And I think they're just trying to steal as much data off each other as they can. I was actually interested not to see the other teams down there filming the start. So, will that give them an advantage? Hansen nicely over what we were calling the rhythm section earlier on today. If you get the bounce right there, you can just clear those 2 humps and continue with a little bit of momentum.
Tell you what, it's an exciting sport, isn't it? It's fast, it's furious. The course will be ever-changing, 8.8 kilometres that you can never really get to grips with over a weekend.
I think the thing is here, it's exciting with 1 car on it. I'm not going to lie, I'm really looking forward to when we've got 3 cars on it. That's going to be absolutely epic. You can see Hansen checking the brakes there, and that's to see how quickly he can get the car stopped before he goes into the switch zone. So that'll be where the drivers make their driver change. The male and the female driver do a lap each. Of course, they can put them in the car in whatever order they want, and we're all really looking forward to seeing what the tactics are for that as well. And this man Ekstrom, who took the run in the morning, is a bit of a master tactician.
And Sam, from your point of view, when it comes to tactics, yes, you can do the drop-off and you can, get a lot of courage to do that and a lot of speed. But when it comes to the start, that's going to be fundamental, isn't it, when it comes to race time, to nail that?
I think the start's going to be key, Jenny, to be honest. With the amount of dust and sand that's being kicked up, you are absolutely going to be wanting to be out in front, because the moment you're sat in second or third, your visibility, the amount that you're going to be able to see is going to be really, really reduced.
Bit like driving in the rain.
A little bit like driving in the rain at Spa or other places where it's literally like someone's put a piece of tracing paper over your windshield.
And we've got a lot of world champions on the grid here. Say Sebastian Loeb's got 9 of them. Johan Kristoffersen's got 3 of them. Hansen Ekstrom have got 1 each. This man's got 1 title, but it's in F1. Of course, 2009 Formula 1 world champion Jenson Button with his own team. He is the team principal. His teammate is Michaela Arlin-Kotlinski, who was the test driver for Continental Tires, the official partner and founding partner of Extreme E. Quite the pairing, but Jenson with a lot to learn. He said that, Jenny, himself, but he said, you know what, I'm enjoying trying to get better at it.
Yeah, it's not like the precision driving, Sam, is it, of doing Formula 1 where every tenth, every millisecond is counted. This is very different. This is ragged. You've got to get dirty. You've got to really swing the car around.
Yeah, momentum counts for everything, I think, in rally driving, keeping the minimum speeds up, being able to throw the rear of the car around. It wasn't Jenson's style in Formula 1. He was the super smooth driver. However, he's absolutely got the talent and the skill set to adjust, and I'm sure that we'll be seeing him fighting for decent positions this season.
And that gives you a very nice view of the run down to the finish. They pop down onto the road, turn left, and then they pop off the road again and up towards the finish in the valley here in Al Ular. Absolutely stunning pictures from Shakedown. Really looking forward to seeing driver switches, really looking forward to seeing the tactics, how hard people are going to push when it's all on the line. This is the Chip Ganassi Racing Squad. Sarah Price going for a run in the morning, Carl LeDuc in the afternoon. Both those American drivers hugely experienced in off-road. And I think potentially the European teams, Jenny, might have somewhat overlooked how quick these guys could be.
Which you do at your peril, because let's face it, nobody knows quite what these combinations of drivers are going to do. You put that together with the teams, and who knows who's going to come out on top. One of the most exciting aspects of this brand new championship, which is Extreme E.
Fantastic stuff from Shakedown. Brilliant circuit here. Circuit track, we're calling it a course for Extreme E. So they're out on course. The course width varies all the way around. Some of the gates are as close together as 12 metres, but the width of some of the track is up to 50. Now, from the start, in the middle, lower part of your screen there, we have a very long run up to what effectively is turn one. So gate one is pretty much straight, and then after that we have a right and a left, and that's where we think we're going to see the cars battle to take that leading slot. Sam, with the visibility that we're going to see, it's going to be crucial to take that leading slot, isn't it?
Absolutely vital. The person that's leading through, I reckon, up towards gate 2 has a great opportunity to extend their lead, going through gate 3, up to gate 4, down the drop, and hopefully get into the lead by the time they get to the crossover checkpoint.
That ravine is where it narrows down, of course, and you've got that ski jump almost effect, and you've got to make sure you've lined yourself up correctly for that, otherwise you could become a cropper when you go down there.
Absolutely. Can that be an overtaking point? It would be spectacular if it was.
Don't tempt me like that. That
amazing.
Would be absolutely stunning, wouldn't it?
So as you've been hearing, one of the key principles for Extreme E is to highlight the impact of climate change. And right here, the problem is that the deserts are getting hotter, they're getting bigger, and water is getting scarcer. Here to explain more is desert specialist Professor Richard Washington.
For millions who live on the edges of the world's deserts, the effects of global warming means survival is becoming increasingly difficult. Although the effects of climate change on environments such as these may not be as well known, they are becoming increasingly clear. To help bring awareness to how global warming is affecting our deserts, Extreme E has enlisted the help of Oxford University's Professor of Climate Science, Richard Washington.
We hear a lot about ice melt and sea level rise and changes to the rainforests. We hear very little about the deserts themselves, but it's really at our own cost. Deserts are extraordinarily beautiful, fragile, important ecosystems, but they're becoming hotter and they're becoming drier and they're becoming larger. At the edges of the desert systems of the world live hundreds of millions of people who eke out an existence in a delicate balance of short, brief rain. If those systems are to change and become more desert-like, their productivity, their livelihoods are threatened. What happens in those deserts is that the plant life will die very quickly. The topsoil will be blown away by the winds. Hundreds of millions of tons of topsoil is blown away across the planet. We see, for instance, Saharan topsoil in the Caribbean, in the Amazon, in Florida. And that's an irreversible process because it takes thousands of years for topsoil to reform.
As fertile soil becomes dust, hospitable land transforms into barren desert. Every year, increasing numbers of people are being forced to abandon their homes due to our deserts expanding. Desertification isn't just a regional issue, it's an issue that affects us all.
Well, looking forward to a brilliant weekend of action in Saudi Arabia, kicking off a fantastic new race series, Racing for Purpose. And what a fantastic entry we've got as well. It's going to be brilliant, Jenny. Can't wait to see which of these driver pairings comes out on top.
Yeah, we're going to have 9 cars, 18 drivers, all taking to the road. We've got qualifying and the race. It's going to be fascinating. That's it for now. We hope you've enjoyed Induction Day on Extreme E. The first proper day at school starts tomorrow, Andrew.
Yeah, it certainly does. We have 2 qualifying sessions tomorrow with the drivers going out in their pairings with a switch. Who's going to go first? Who is going to set the pace? We can't wait to get the action underway. So join us tomorrow when we kick off Season 1 of Extreme E.
Foxtrot Lima Papa Whiskey.